Uh, we have discussed yesterday the introduction and importance of horticulture. Now we will go through the scope of horticulture, how horticulture is beneficial to the Indian horticulture industry, to the present day position of Indian horticulture industry, how it is beneficial. Before that, just I want to give one slide about the area and production of horticulture crops that is cultivated in our country. So the out of we have nearly 328 million hectare of geographical area in India. That is total land available is in India is 328 million hectares. You may knowing and you might have studied in agronomic course also. But out of this total land, our geographical area 328 million hectare available in India, own net sown area is only 161.3 million hectare. That is under 161.3 million hectare is under cultivation. That accounts nearly 52.7% of the total land area of India. And the rest of the land is under sea, lake, channel, dams, buildings, roads, parks, and other amenities. So the land which is more than 47% is the utilizing by the different sources, the sea, lake, channel, dam, buildings, and other roads and other things. So if you come, that is total land available for the cultivation of both agriculture, horticulture, forestry, everything. So now we will discuss only with the horticulture crops. The horticultural crops occupies around 25.87 million hectares of land. It is a very small area in total cultivated land area, but giving the lot of inputs, the productivity and other things when compared to other crops. And if you come to that is overall horticulture crops includes everything: fruits, vegetables, flowers, ornamentals, all revenue trees, everything that includes 25.87 million hectares. Then if you come to the fruits, because this production of fruits. So if you come for the fruits, fruit occupies nearly 6.66 million hectare as per the last year estimation from the government of India, the Ministry of Agriculture, FAO. So they estimated during the 2019-20 6.66 million hectare, which is representing around 1.6% of the total cultivated area. And as of now, the total production of the horticulture crops is around 320 million tons. It is estimated during 1920 last year. So that is the total productivity production available from all crops, fruits, vegetables, flowers, and all crops. The fruit crops produce as much as 99.07 million tons. That is the production. Then vegetable around 10.29 million hectares, which gives around 191.7 million tons of vegetables produced. So this is the data that is available in the last previous year estimation. Then plantation crops occupies nearly 3.87 million hectares with the production of 16.4 million tons. The 2% of the cultivated land area is available for the plantation crops mainly in the southern India, but the volume of international trade and their importance in the national economy is very significant because they are all high value, low volume crops, so they could not give the more value, that is produce value. If you take the coffee, cardamom, tea, even cashew nut, all they are high value crops. Even the low value, 1 kg of cashew nut, they around 700, it varies 700 to 2000 rupees per kilo as based on the quality and grade of the material. Similarly, areca nut, all these things. So the leading producer, India is the leading producer. Nearly tea, 47% of the world production that is contribute. Cashew around 46%. areca nut around 66%, and cardamom is around 54%. So this is the area and production available for the crops. If you see the export value of the horticulture produce, the presently India exports the fruits and fruit products and plantation crops, product like tea, coffee, cardamom, pepper, cashew, and spices. So India exporting the fruit and fruit products worth of rupees more than 54 crores. And the India includes the fruits exporting are banana, citrus, apple, walnut, then processed products of pineapple. They are all important commodities that are exported to the other countries. Then among the plantation crops, as per the recent figure, the pepper worth more than 40 crores, cardamom worth more than 60 crores, that is exported value. Then spices like coriander, cumin, fennel, fenugreek, all that contributes saffron more than 95 crores exported, and cashew kernels exported more than 350 crores. And India earns more than 300 crores from tea, more than 250 crores from coffee. So many produce. We are exporting all fruits, vegetables, flowers, and plantation crops produced to the different countries and earning more foreign exchange. That's why I told you in one of the importance of horticulture, crops which are produced are having the more importance on the foreign exchange value. So that way horticulture crops are beneficial. The scope is there for cultivation of these crops. Then similarly, we have to see the spoilage, the wastage of the fruits and vegetables or flowers or what it may be. Though India produces nearly 85 million tons of fruits and vegetable at present, seizable quantity of this goes waste due to improper handling. Nearly 25 to 30% of the produce does not reach to the consumers due to improper handling, the absence of the adequate storage facilities or processing facilities like that. So we have to avoid the wastage so that the 25 to 30% of the produce can be utilized by using proper handling and the storage facilities. If it is there, that is most important. So the future perspective of horticulture. Future perspective of horticulture. There is undoubtedly a very bright future for the development of horticulture in India. India is unique with regard to its climate. This subcontinent enjoys temperate, tropical and subtropical climate, which allows the cultivation of wide range of horticulture crops. Considering the high yield per unit area and also high value for the unit produce, there is a need to increase the production, not only by increasing the area under fruits and vegetables, but also by increasing the production per unit area. At the rate of specified dietitian, as already I told you in one of the importance of nutrition, 150 gram of fruits and 300 grams of vegetables per adult per day is essential. So we have to produce. At present, we are not getting that much quantity of the fruits and vegetable because the production we have to increase, and the annual requirement of the fruits and vegetable is around 37 million tons. But requirement is 37 million tons of fruits and 56 million tons of vegetable. So we have to produce. If you reduce the wastage that is 25-30% total production wastage, that can be overcome and we can meet the demand of the as requirement of the fruits and vegetable for consumption. So for that we have to provide to reduce the wastage. We have to go for proper post harvest handling techniques. We have to adopt, and then we can reduce the loss of the produce or commodity. So giving allowance of these losses, it is necessary to produce around 48 million tons of fruits and 68 million tons of vegetables to meet our demand. So that is the uh, requirement. Then there is a challenges that can be met by improving these. These challenges, these can be met by the higher production can be done by using the improved varieties can be grown, and you can get the more productivity per unit area. Adopting better agro techniques, agroclimate, because we have so many technology for producing crops. You can improve the quality of the produce and both quality and quantity of the produce by adopting some better agro technology. Maybe pruning, maybe adopting good fertilizer, then the irrigation facility, all these things, different agro techniques that you have to adopt. Then the plant protection. The if we get the fruit and the produce infected by pest or diseases, we have to take care of the plant protection. Then developing appropriate post harvest technology. That's what I told you. After how to harvest the produce, how it should be packed, how it should be stored, all these things. Post harvest technology should be followed. Then the adequate processing units. If there is excess produce, those produce should be processed and prepared the processed product like jam, jelly, ketchup, squash. Many products can be prepared by both in fruits and vegetables. Then you can reduce the loss and meet the our required demand. So challenges can be met through all these different factors. Then at present, not even 1% of the fruits and vegetables are processed in India. Whatever the total produce that we are getting, even 1% we are not doing. So we have to go for proper packing and grading of horticulture produce that will enhance our export trade. And there are immense possibilities of increasing the fresh fruits. We can export them, even the fruits and vegetables. And after the remaining produce can be processed, then they can be export to the different countries. Even we are exporting the cut flowers. Now there are many cut flowers we are exporting, like rose, gerbera, carnation, then gladiolus. All these different cut flowers are exported and earning a lot of foreign exchange. So by saying this, if you compare the agriculture and horticulture, this is important. These differences you should know. There is some distinguishing characters between the agriculture and horticulture. So agriculture, if you see the horticulture is a branch of agriculture, but the importance if we give, it is horticultures are intensively cultivated crops. Intensively means it requires more labor and capital incentive. The involve the initial investment of the establishment of the orchard is high. So that's why it is called as intensively cultivated, because they are all, I already told you, they are close, protected, cultivated in a the closed conditions, enclosure. With enclosure, we need fence, then the proper care, all these things. So all these components to intensive cultivation. So it requires more labor and capital, that is investment. But agriculture crops are extensively cultivated, because if you, when rain gets, they are all open field crop. Once you can flow the land and go for sowing the seeds, and you can harvest the produce. So that's why you call it as extensively cultivated, because that is cultivated. The horticulture crops are grown under protection. So agriculture crops without protection. So we go for open cultivation, but the horticulture crops should be have some protection. Otherwise, some produce when it comes, it will be theft by different menaces. Maybe damaged by animals and other things. Even the theft fruit produce maybe sometimes go damaged. Then the horticulture crops gives the high yield and income per unit area. Already we have discussed in the importance of horticulture. So most of the crops gives the tons together. Horticulture, if you take banana, 30 to 40 tons, mango, 15, 20 tons, like that per hectare. And the broadly value, if you take mango 1 kg, 100 rupees per kilo, 100 to 150 rupees per kilo. But if you take the ragi, other things, 20, 30 rupees, 40 rupees, even up to 50. So value of the produce is more, and the productivity yield is also more in horticulture crops when compared to agriculture crops. So you will get more returns in the horticulture crops, less return in the agriculture crops because of their produce value and the quantity of the produce that is obtained per unit area, that is yield. So mainly horticulture crops are perennial in nature and some of them are seasonal. The tree species, they are all perennial in nature. And then the biannual, some are the 2 season crops like cole crops, cabbage, cauliflower, onion, and those. Then some few vegetables like chili, they are all seasonal. But the agriculture crops are only purely seasonal, 3 to 4 and 5 months crop. So now, that's why it is. And then the horticulture crops are highly perishable. The commodity which we harvest or produce should be consumed very early because they cannot dry and keep. Some crops may be grape, fig, you can make the raisins and then you can use it. But most of the produce that is produced, you have to consume with a short period. So they are highly perishable. But agriculture crops not perishable because they can the products and seeds, sometimes oil seeds, all these comes, you can dry it and you can keep it for a longer period. Then the horticulture crops produces the protective foods, provides so many vitamins and minerals. I told you in the role of nutrition. So they are all protective foods, and agriculture crops are staple foods. Only carbohydrates is obtained by rice or wheat or whatever it may be. Then horticulture crops has got aesthetic value, the avenueness, the beautification can be made, the aesthetic. But in agriculture crops only seasonal, so they are not much. Then horticulture crops required special skill and techniques for its cultivation. Maybe if you take special skills means if you take to produce the planting material, you need to have the skill for how to go for grafting, how to go for budding, how the cuttings are prepared, how the beds are prepared, how the plants, saplings are planted with a distance. So techniques, there are all different techniques required by the for the horticulture crops, but agriculture crops, not much skill is required. Just you go for row sowing or the broadcasting of the seeds and you can produce the crop. So that is the distinguishing characters between agriculture and horticulture. So Gavish, Gavish Hitesh? Hello?
Sir.
It is clear. Understand, Akir. You are all of you are clear.
Yes, sir.
You are following now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. Attendance ತಗೊಂಬಿಡಿ ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಶಾಟ್ ಆಮೇಲೆ ನನಗೆ ಕಳಿಸು. Okay. So if we have any doubts, if you have any doubts in any other concepts, you can ask me over phone or you can interact. You can show raise the hand. I will see that. I will clarify your doubts. Okay. So next, the scope and importance of fruit crops. Now we'll come to your production of fruit crops. So the importance, the scope and importance of growing fruits in our country. The fruit growing is one of the important and age-old practice that is practiced in India since ancient times. The cultivation of fruits play important role in overall status of the mankind and the nation because it gives a lot of nutritive value and the export, the earning export high because of the high returns and high yield per unit area. Therefore, the value is also more, so we'll get more returns. That's why it is having the more status or mankind of the nation. The standard of living of the people of a country is mainly dependent upon the production and per capita consumption of fruits, because we know the fruits are required nearly 58 million tons now. We are producing only 36 to 40 million tons. So that should be increased. So we have a lot of, we are consuming a lot of fruits. Then the fruits growing have more economic advantages because it is management is easy. the investment, only initial installment will be there. Later we will get the because they are all more than 30, 40 years, 50 years, you can grow the crop. That's why we have the more economic advantage. Only initial establishment is more costly, but later, if you go for their lifespan, it is highly economic. So there are some economic importance we can see through the growing of fruit crops. One is economic importance, mainly based on the revenue that is generated per unit area if you compare to agriculture or other crops. So in economic importance, you can see the high productivity, high net profit, then source of raw material for many agro-based industries, efficient utilization of resources, utilization of waste and barren land for production, and the foreign exchange. So the high productivity that already I told you, high yield per unit area. From a unit area of land, more yield is realized from fruit crops than any agronomic crops. I have given the comparison of field and other things. If you take the average yield of papaya, banana, grapes, you will get more than 10 to 15 times more than the any field crops, any agriculture crops. So that's why it is giving the high productivity per unit. Then net profit, high net profit because of the cost. Though the initial cost of establishment of orchard is high, it is compensated by higher net profit due to the higher productivity or high value of the produce. So if you take the ragi or wheat, you will get 3 to 4 tons, but value is maybe 25 to 35,000. If you see the total revenue generated from each per unit area per hectare. You take the mango, grape, banana, maybe 20 to 40 tons, but the value is maybe lakhs together, 1.5 to 2.5 lakhs per hectare. So produce, the high value of the produce is more, high value produce and high productivity, you will get the higher net profit per unit area. Similarly, the source of raw material for agro-based industries. Fruit farming provide raw material for various agro-based industries, canning and preservation of fruits, oil industries, coconut due to coconut dust, pharmaceutical industries, maybe many fruits, anola, amla, papaya, jamun, and the transporting and packaging industries, all these things. So they produce the raw material for the different. Then efficient utilization of resources. Growing of fruits being a perennial in nature that enables to grow the or engage throughout the year. You will get the throughout the year employment for the farm operation to utilize fully resources and instead of machinery, labor, land, water production purpose. Throughout the year, you have to you work in the horticulture crops because in agronomy it is not that. Once it is sowing is done, it is harvesting only. So that way it is efficient utilization of resources can be done. Then utilization of waste and barren land for the production. Although most of the fruity crops require perennial irrigation, but some crops you can go for dryland horticulture with good soils. Even good soil production, some hard pan soils where you have the wasteland, undulating land, then the hilly areas, you can go for growing some crops and you can get the cultivated one, utilize that wasteland. Maybe mango, bear, cashew, custard apple, false, jamun can be grown on poor shallow soils, undulated soils are unsuitable for growing where the grains are agronomic crops. Those crops can also be grown. Those lands can be utilized. Then the earning more foreign exchange. The many fresh fruits, processed products and spices are exported to several countries and earning good amount of foreign exchange. So that is the important. Then second, nutritional importance. As I told you, importance role of human nutrition. So importance of fruit in human diet is well recognized and we cannot live without cereals alone also. The fruits and vegetables are essential for balanced diet and good health. The nutritionist advocate 150 gram fruits and 300 gram vegetable per capita per day in addition to cereals, pulses, eggs and other things. The fruits and vegetables are good source of vitamin, minerals, without which human body cannot maintain the proper health. So the development of resistant to diseases and some other infection, we need pectin, cellulose, fats, protein. So that is supplemented by the fruits and vegetables. Then the fruits as a source of vitamins, already I have given in role of nutrition that vitamin A, mango, papaya, jack, banana, dates, vitamin B, cashew, almond nut, banana, these crops. You have to remember these crops are vitamins for the objective types of question, because they may ask the vitamin which fruit crops is produced, vitamin A or B or C, like that. So that's why I given some example. You can remember those. Then the fruits as source of mineral. There are many fruit crops which produces high in mineral, like calcium, iron, phosphorus, the almond, cashew, guava, jamun, fig, karonda, mango, then some fruit crops digestive enzymes. That is papaya produce papain 9 proteolytic. This is because of proteolytic enzyme. Then the fruits have medicinal value. Third one, medicinal importance. The fruits like anola, pomegranate, kokum, jamun have great medicinal value. Papaya reduces the night blindness. Consuming papaya fruit, you can reduce the night blindness. Then citrus juice reduces the acute diarrhea. Then amla, triphala, chawanprash for the digestion purpose. Jackfruit, jacqueline, that prevents the AIDS. Then the value-added products, fourth one, the processed and canned products like jam, jelly, ketchup, dried fruits can be made from the fruits like guava, grapes, papaya, fig, citrus. Then the other importance in fruit growing in kitchen garden, help reduce family budget on purchase of the fruits. That is, you can have the backyard. If you have the space around your house, you can go for growing kitchen garden, making kitchen garden. Some trees, few, maybe papaya, maybe banana, maybe pomegranate, maybe lime. Some crops can be grown wherever the periphery, all on the periphery of the compound or boundary, and you can use it as a kitchen garden and reduce the family budget for purchase of those fruits. Then planting of fruits tree of maintain ecologist balance and to increase the precipitation of the locality. Then fruit trees farming also reduces the soil erosion, silting trunks, and air pollution. The carbon monoxide is one. If you have the trees around our living area, then the carbon monoxide which is produced will absorb, and you will can get the pure air for the breathing. And then if you have the heavy rain area, then soil erosion, it avoids erosion, then silting of the trunks. So these are all some of the other importance. And by growing the fruit crops, generate the employment, being highly intensive and skillful enterprise that generate employment even for the trained persons. So that is the importance of the fruit crops growing in the horticulture industry. Then you have the horticulture zones. Horticulture zones of India are fruit zone. So we have the enormous different climatic conditions in the country. So we have nearly 11 zones for cultivation of different fruit crops according to their environmental factor. That is mainly the temperature and rainfall parameters. So the climate plays an important role in this dividing the fruit zones. So the climate is one of the important complex factor which influence the fruit production. That is defined as the general temperature and atmospheric condition of a area or an extended period of time. So during the period time, how long the temperature is prevailed in a particular locality or particular moisture, everything, atmospheric condition, everything. So atmospheric condition includes the rainfall, humidity, sunshine, wind, and other factors. The fruit growing zones are classified based on the climatic factors. So these fruit zones are nearly 11 fruit zones. First one is the tropical fruit zone. This class includes the fruit crops which are evergreen, unable to endure the cool temperature, but can tolerate warm temperature of about 100 degree Fahrenheit. The fruit plants of this zone need strong sunshine, warm and humid climate, and very mild winter. They cannot stand against cold. They cannot withstand for the cold. Tropical fruits they cannot withstand. In the area under this zone, in the countries, the states, West Bengal, part of Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan, Orissa, Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, and Kerala. In fruit, tropical fruit zone, the fruit crops examples: mango, banana, pineapple, sapota, papaya, cashew, grapes, guava, pomegranate. These crops comes under cultivation of tropical fruit zone. Then subtropical fruit zone. This class includes fruit crops of intermediate characters to the tropical and temperature. So the summer is hot and dry, and winter is less mild. They may either deciduous or even evergreen. They are usually able to withstand with the low temperature, but not frost. The some require the chilling of flower bud differentiation. Fruit grows mostly in the plains. There is a problem in bud differentiation, bud break in grapes and other things. So there it required apical dominance. So to remove the resting, they are on under resting period. So the bud will go on dormancy. You know what is the bud dormancy and other things. So appearance of green tissue from a bud is bud dormancy. When the food is not available, the oxygen is endurance. The apical dominance occurs. Apical dominance is nothing but the correlative inhibition of lateral growth under the influence of growing terminal buds. The terminology we'll discuss when the individual crops comes. So that way it affects the chilling, flower bud differentiation, other things. The fruit zone covers the plain, Punjab, Uttar Pradesh, part of Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Orissa, West Bengal, Maharashtra, Rajasthan, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Kerala. The fruit crops which comes purely on subtropicals are these citrus, grapes, falsa, fig, guava, pomegranate, and banana. Sorry. Then third one is temperate fruit zone. This class of fruit grows successfully in cold region where temperature falls below freezing point during winter. During the cold season, the trees shed their leaves and goes into rest period. For breaking the rest dormant period, a definite chilling period is required. So chilling temperature helps in producing these flowering, fruiting with onset of spring season. So they're all deciduous, temperate fruits. They are all deciduous in nature. These reasons of growing these temperate fruits are Jammu, Kashmir, Kulu Valley, Himachal Pradesh. The fruit crops which are grown in these temperate conditions, they are all peach, plum, cherries, almond, walnut, strawberry, apricot, pecan, kiwi fruit, all these things. They are all temperate fruits, which is grown in temperate countries, temperate regions. Then arid zone. The arid zone has extreme climatic conditions, high temperature with low humidity. Arid zone. Arid zone has extreme climatic conditions, high temperature and low humidity. The rainfall is very low and its distribution is erratic, poor texture soil. The area like Rajasthan, 62% of arid zone is there, Gujarat 20%, and part of Punjab, Haryana, Karnataka, and Maharashtra. Then fruit crops grown, falsa, date palm, pomegranate, bear, custard apple, tamarind, all these crops. Then semi-arid zone, fifth one. This region exhibits low and erratic rainfall, low humidity, and high temperature. Fruits of arid region can be cultivated in this zone. The fruit like mango, sapota, guava, jack, avocado. These are all some of the fruit crops which are comes under the region. Then northeastern subtropical zone. All tropical and subtropical fruits are grown in this region. In Bihar, Assam, Meghalaya, Manipur, and these parts. Then northwestern, north region, glass Yes. Ravi Siddesh.
Sir,
ಬೇಗ ಬೇಗ ಜಾಯ್ನ್ ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ ಅದು 40 ಮಿನಿಟ್ಸ್ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಕಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಬೇಗ ರಿಜಾಯ್ನ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು ವಿತಿನ್ 2-3 ಮಿನಿಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ವಿಲ್ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ. ಅದು ಅಲೋ ಇರೋದು 40 ಮಿನಿಟ್ಸ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇನೆ.
ಸರಿ ಸರ್.
ಓಕೆ ಓಕೆ, ನೀನ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಸೆಷನ್ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಶಾಟ್ ತೆಗೆದು ನನಗೆ ಈ ಟ್ರೈನಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಕಳಿಸು. ಈ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಶಾಟ್ ಎರಡೂನು, ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಸೆಷನ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಸೆಷನ್.
ಸರಿ ಸರ್, ಸರಿ.
ಓಕೆ ಓಕೆ, ವಿಲ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್. Okay. The sixth one is northeastern subtropical zone. Here all tropicals and subtropical fruits are grown in this region. The parts of Bihar, Assam, Meghalaya, Manipur, and parts of West Bengal, Uttar Pradesh, etc. The seventh one, western region. It is again classified into different temperature based on the temperature. The low temperature, low winter temperature, dry temperature. That is high cool condition. Then sub-temperature, winter temperature. Then lesser colder. Then low hill valley, low winter temperature and lesser cold. So these comes in the part of Jammu Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, hills of Uttar Pradesh, South Punjab and Haryana. Then the eighth one, Central Tropical Fruit Zone. Central Tropical Fruit Zone. This region covers the southern parts of Madhya Pradesh, then Maharashtra, Orissa, parts of Andhra Pradesh, Gujarat, and West Bengal. Then the ninth zone, I told already there are 11 zones. So the ninth one is the South Subtropical Fruit Zone, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, and Andhra Pradesh. Then Coastal Tropical Fruit Zone, Kerala, Goa, Diu Daman, Tripur, coastal parts of Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, West Bengal, Tamil Nadu, Orissa, and Karnataka. Then humid zone fruit crops. This region is characterized by low temperature and high humidity. The crops are lychee, strawberry, avocado, mangosteen, passion fruits can be grown. So these are all the 11 fruit zones. Different crops are grown in according to the climatic conditions which is prevailed for the production of the crops. Maybe that temperature and humidity are the major factors which is responsible for the synthesis of the bud, then the formation of the bud, differentiation of the bud, flower bud, or what it may, fruit bud and flower bud, then the productivity, increasing the productivity. So apart from these fruit zones, the India has classified into 21 agroecological region based on the physiography of the soil, bioclimatic type, and growing periods. Growing period. So this is the fruit zone. It is prepared for the conditions. Next, we have the important institutions working on horticulture in India under ICAR, New Delhi. So there are many. We come to all the state agriculture units comes under Indian Council of Agriculture Research, New Delhi, ICAR. So they is the main source for agriculture sector, and under this umbrella, the state agriculture universities are working. So we have the different fruit research station for growing. So the Central Institute for Subtropical Horticulture, that is many crops are grown, subtropical horticulture crops. It is located at Uttar Pradesh. Then Central Institute of Arid Horticulture, it is located at Rajasthan. The arid crops which are grown, because we have so many arid fruit crops, date palm and other things, those are cultivated in this research institute. Then Central Institute of Temperate Horticulture, that is Jammu and Kashmir. Jammu and Kashmir, temperate fruits like apple, peach, pear, plum, all these crops are grown. Then Central Plantation Crop Research Institute, that is in Kerala, all plantation crops, spices under the are grown. Then Central Potato Research Institute, that is in Himachal Pradesh. Central Tuber Crop Research Institute, that is in Kerala. Then Indian Institute of Horticulture Research, that is in Karnataka, Bangalore, IHR, we call it as IHR. Then Indian Institute of Spice Research, Kerala. Then Indian Institute of Vegetable Research, Uttar Pradesh. Then the NRC, National Research Centers for Banana, that is in Tamil Nadu, Trichy. The National Research Center for Cashew, it is in Puttur, Karnataka. Then the National Research Center for Citrus, it is in Maharashtra, Nagpur. Then National Research Center for Grapes, it is in Pune, Maharashtra. Then the National Research Center for Medicinal Aromatic Crops, plants, that is in Gujarat, Anand. The place is Buravi. Then National Research Center for Oil Palm, it is in Andhra Pradesh, Pedavegi. Then National Research Center for Orchids, it is in Sikkim, Pekyang. Then National Research Center for Seed Spice, it is in Rajasthan, Ajmer, that is Tabiji. Then National Research Center for Spices, it is Rajasthan. Indian Council of Agriculture Research, that is the main umbrella, that is in New Delhi. Then in the New Delhi, we have the Indian Agriculture Research Institute, that is IERI, and New Delhi. Then CCRI, Central Coffee Research Institute, Karnataka, it is in Chikmagalur. Then Tea Board, it is there in Kolkata. Coconut Board, it is in Kerala, Cochin. Spice Board, Kerala, Cochin. Then National Horticulture Board, this Haryana. So these are some of the institutes which are working in the national level for the different horticulture produce. So this is about the today's class. I will meet next class. If you have any doubts, clarification, you can note a point, make a note of it, and you can send to my WhatsApp, or you can call me. I will clarify your doubts whenever you want. Okay. Okay, Gavishidesh. Hello. Gavishidesh.
ಸರ್ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ಶಾಟ್ ತಗೊಂತಿದ್ದೆ ಸರ್.
ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಇದೆಯಾ?
ಇದೆ ಸರ್.
ಸರಿ ಆಯ್ತು. ಇವತ್ತಿಗೆ ಇದು ಎಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ವೆನ್ಸ್ಡೇ ಭೇಟಿ ಆಗೋಣ. ಏನಾದ್ರು ಇಫ್ ಎನಿ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಎನಿ ಡೌಟ್ಸ್ ದೇ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಮೇಕ್ ಎ ನೋಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಟು ವಾಟ್ಸ್ಆಪ್. ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಕ್ಲಾರಿಫೈ, ಆರ್ you can call over phone and we can interact. Okay.
Okay sir. Okay sir.
Concept. Okay. Take stats kalskodi nanige. Attendance kalskodi.
Sorry.
I will end the meeting. Okay.
Okay sir. Thank you sir.
Okay. I will share these slide screens. You can share to all your students, all 92, and go through it. If you find any doubts, any clarification you need, you can ask me. Okay.
Okay sir.
Okay.
Thank you sir.
Okay.